The government has accepted business demands to pause mandatory guardrails over artificial intelligence in the first national plan released this morning. The long-awaited plan, which the government began consulting on in 2023, was originally intended to include hard rules to govern AI under a standalone act. Well, the government is opting to use existing frameworks now instead. Political reporter Isabella Tolhurst joins us now from Parliament House in Canberra. Bella, the plan aims to accelerate the spread and development of AI.
Good morning, Gemma. Yes, the pipeline for this AI rollout and regulation framework is really going all in on supporting AI and taking a slightly more hands-off approach than what the government had initially been taking. They have stepped back from this path they have been on for about 2 years in their research and consultation on how they were going to regulate AI. They initially were going to have 10 mandatory guardrails in place to help protect and regulate artificial intelligence. They've walked back from that now, and instead they're relying on existing frameworks and technologies, relying on regulators' existing experience to inform how they go about regulating AI. Now, what does all of this mean? The Industry Minister, Tim Ayres, says that instead of a standalone AI Act as originally floated, the federal government will work with states and territory governments to clarify existing rules. So that's on things like copyright laws, on the use of AI in healthcare, on things like consumer protection. They also say they'll be working with the state and territory governments on things like energy and water supply, which we know these AI data centres need a lot of. He says that it will hopefully speed up research and development, citing things like medical research or drug development, things that he says is in the interest of the Australian public. Keeping an eye on things will be a $30 million AI Safety Institute that is being developed, which will keep an eye over the sector and report back to industry and government if there need to be stronger regulations in place in certain areas. Now, Greens Senator David Shoebridge has been very critical of the government's plan this morning, saying that it just plays into the hands of big US tech companies, that it leaves creatives hung out to dry on copyright laws, and that the use of AI algorithms on social media is driving an increase in extremist views through social media. But Industry Minister Tim Ayres has stood by his policy, by his plan. He says that it's about harnessing economic opportunity. Here's what he had to say.
It is directed towards 3 national interest priorities. Firstly, making sure that Australia captures the opportunity, the economic opportunity, the productivity opportunity, making sure that we're making AI technology here, as well as taking the best of artificial intelligence technology into Australia to do important national interest things.
Isabella, why the focus on economic opportunity over guardrails?
Well, AI is a growing industry. It's something that we are increasingly using in our everyday lives, whether it's ChatGPT or OpenAI. Australians interacting with and using AI more and more, and the Australian government wants to get on board with that. They don't want to be left behind as the world moves along on this AI train, I suppose, bandwagon. It's also a huge attractor for investment. Australia is already the second largest destination for investment in data centres, bringing in $10 billion last year. The demand for skilled workers in AI has also tripled over the past decade. So this is a rising industry that Australia wants to get behind, otherwise they'll be left behind on it, really. They also say that protections in place around things like deepfakes and nudify apps, those guardrails in place to help protect against some of the dangers of AI and those concerns. But certainly the government will have to keep looking at this plan and updating it as AI develops and changes so quickly to see whether this relatively hands-off approach that it's now taking is going to be suitable as AI develops. Gemma?
Isabella Tolhurst there at Parliament House. Thank you.